Hi, this is Jeremy with the social media team here at the Ark Encounter. I am with Matt DeVoe. You are head over both zoos at the Ark Encounter and Creation Museum. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
So
Director of Living Collections.
Director of Living Collections, and this is Ararat Ridge Zoo, and we're in the petting zoo area right now. But we also have Eden Zoo over at the Creation Museum, and you're over that as well. So you have quite a big job managing everything.
Yeah, they keep me busy.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. And it's a zoo in both places. So.
Right. So we're here to talk about zoo babies here at the Ark, and I'm just kind of waiting right now until people get on. And so anyway, let's talk about zoo babies. Where are we right now?
Well, right now, this is the petting area located at the Ararat Ridge Zoo at Ark Encounter. And it's actually a really good size exhibit. It's super, super nice. Kids have lots of room to spread out. Not only the goat kids, but also the people kids. So you can see we've got a rock wall for the goats. There's a lot of logs and a lot of interaction for the goats to do with objects and then as well as with the kids. But we also, being springtime, now we're getting all our babies in. So we've got two particular groups of babies that we want to talk about today. And one that we're in right now are all the goat kids. We had 4 female goats that ended up having babies this late winter, early spring for us. And Brittany, this is Brittany Bauer. She's one of our keepers.
Hi.
And she is holding...
A Bendigo.
This is a Bendigo. He is... What kind of goat is he?
He's a cross between a miniature Nubian and a miniature La Mancha. He says, I'm going to be quiet.
He doesn't have much to say. Now, the cool thing about the La Manchas is they are the earless breed. So we get a lot of questions as to why we remove the ears off the goats. But we obviously did not. This is the breed that it is. They're bred to be earless. So his dad was a dwarf or mini Nubian, and he has the large floppy ears. Hopefully we'll catch him out here later. He's actually in the exhibit as well. And then he's got his dad's color pattern, but he's got his mother's ears. She was a La Mancha, and she has the smaller ears. I think that's his mother right over there.
Right there.
So that tan goat over there, that is Manasseh. And she actually had quadruplets, which happens very, very rarely. So she had 4 goat kids. And that's the other 2. Who are those guys?
So the tan one is Shadrach, the black one is Meshach, and then I'm holding a Bendigo, and she's holding Danielle over here. Those are the 4.
And how old did you say they were again?
They were born on February 18th, so they're 2 months old.
2 months old, yeah. 2 months old a couple days ago.
Ah, they grow quite fast.
They do grow up quick, and they'll stay kids for a long time, though. They'll have that baby attitude for a good year.
Good year.
Year or more.
Do they like to play?
They do, and the fact that we had so many of them together, they are really just... Oh, here we go right now.
Oh.
There they go.
Aww.
It's going to be nursing time right now. So the goats only have 2 teats. The mothers do. And so her having 4 kids created quite a challenge for her.
Wow.
Danielle, the kid that you were holding, we actually are supplemental feeding her with syringe feeding. So the keepers, how are we doing that, twice a day now?
She gets 2 bottles a day, so 16 ounces.
Okay.
She will not take a bottle, so we have to do a syringe. But she takes it pretty well, and she gets a lot of sweet mix too. So.
How common is it for a goat to have that many?
To have 4, this is the first time in my career I've ever seen it.
Yeah, wow.
So it is documented, it does happen, it's just not super common.
Right.
Triplets happens a little more frequently. The most common, especially for new time moms, which Manasseh is not. She's a veteran mother, but typically they'll have 1 their first breeding season.
Okay.
And then after that, it's usually twins. That's the most common.
Wow.
Which is what we had 1 that had triplets, and then we had 2 others that had twins. So
that's really neat.
Where's Hagar? All right, so you can see the spotted female over there by the young man.
Yep.
That's Hagar.
Her 2 kids are right here.
These 2?
The brown ones, yep.
Okay.
That's Ishmael and Isaac.
Okay.
And then Israel is the black mom. Her kids just ran to her to nurse.
Aw.
That's Aaron and Miriam. Those are her kids.
Sweet.
So it's really neat because the guests can kind of see this whole event happening.
Yes.
It's the mothers doing their thing, the kids interacting and playing, the nursing whenever the kids get happy and get hungry. You can see how quickly the tails go.
Yes.
So as soon as they get excited to nurse, the tails just immediately start going.
So guests must just love it then. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been
Yep.
this makes for a super fantastic petting area experience. And besides having that many different goat kids, it really spreads out the stress. So if we have a really, really busy day, it's nice to have that many goat kids in here because it does kind of break up the attention.
Yes.
And then the goat kids, they run around and have their own little competitions. And they race, they headbutt, they do everything a goat would normally do.
They seem like very relaxed and they like the interaction.
They do. They're really enjoying the people.
Mm-hmm.
And do you want to tell them, Brittany, about Hagar? She's a little different. She's a little different kind than Manasseh was the La Mancha with the earless. His dad is the mini Nubian. Tell us about Hagar.
So Hagar is a dwarf Nigerian. So she doesn't have like super long ears, but she also doesn't have the short ears. Hers are they just kind of stick out. So her kids are dwarf Nigerian and miniature Nubian cross.
Was that the spotted one there?
The spotted one there.
Okay.
Yeah. That one's Isaac.
Okay.
And you can see their dad is about twice the size of the mom. So as young as they are, they're almost mom's height already.
Wow.
So they might be taken after dad on size.
How many goats do we have altogether?
We have 9.
9.
9 kids.
Oh, 9 kids. Sorry.
9 kids.
5 goats altogether.
Okay.
Well, let's go venture through here. I'm going to see if we
Sure.
can find dad because he's
Okay. I'll
a
follow
pretty
you.
good-looking guy. I want you to see him. Hi, how are you? Are you having fun out here? You're taking it easy over here in the corner.
His colors are so pretty.
Isn't he gorgeous?
Yes, he's beautiful. Wow.
So this is the king of all goats right here. And he's the father of all 9 of our kids. And you can see now, if you compared him to, which one looks like him? La Mancha?
Hagar.
No, his baby.
Oh, Abednego. Sorry.
Yes, Abednego. There you go. Yeah, now you can see him. Thank you. I haven't gotten all the names down.
That's all right.
Abednego here, you can see how he takes his color after that.
Yes,
over here.
yes.
He's got a very, very similar color.
Uh-huh. So
This is
pretty.
Ahava, and he is the Nubian. You see the big floppy ears here? And he's got the Nubian ears. And he is a super good goat. As a matter of fact, when we first got him, we didn't even leash him or nothing. He would just kind of follow us, keep us around the zoo all day. Isn't that right?
He spent time in our office with us. He would just kind of hang out with us all day.
He looks very sweet.
He's a very good boy.
So one of the cool things too is our goats all have collars on, and every zoo animal gets a Bible name. Are you going to come up for us? And so they all have a collar with their name tag on it.
Oh, cool.
There you can find a Hava right there.
So
So that way the guests know what their names are.
Uh-huh.
The blue collars are boys, the purple collars are girls.
That's fun.
now Ahava is actually not found in the Bible, but it is the Hebrew word for love. And he has this little black spot on his back, and that's where he gets his name.
Oh, that looks like a heart? Or where is
Yeah.
it? On his
It's back
back?
here.
Right here.
It's hard to tell because he has his winter coat. Still,
Uh-huh.
but it's like it used to be a perfect little heart
Oh, that's
shape.
fun.
What do you have to say for yourself? Man, a few words.
So do they get trimmed then? Get haircuts ever?
Nope, they just get brushed out really, really good.
So he'll lose that winter coat naturally.
Yeah. Now we also we have brushes for the guests.
Uh-huh.
So we don't even have to do that as staff. We let the animals take care of that
that's
for us.
nice.
So
Yeah.
the guests come in here and they brush all the animals out for us. And
That's
it's
fun.
a cool interaction between the guests and the animals.
Yeah.
Since we don't have the feeding in here, we had guests asking earlier about the food.
Mm-hmm.
We don't feed in our petting area. It keeps the animals friendlier. They're less likely to knock people down looking for food and things like that. So
Mm-hmm. Yes.
this is a much friendlier petting area. And that's what you get a lot of times. Like, wow, these goats are really calm. They're
Yes.
really nice. And you're going to look around, too. We have several that do still have their horns, which a lot of petting areas don't have because of that reason. They feed, and then, a goat with horns is more interested and more likely to ram. So even our ones that have the horns are super docile, really good with the cats.
That's awesome. That's great.
Well, do you want to go over and take a look at the emu?
Yeah, let's do it. That sounds
All right, let's
great.
head that way. Go right up the stairs. Thanks, kid. So this is going to take us down the center aisle of the main zoo piece here. Thanks, Jessica.
This is kind of the back door
Right.
to Ararat Ridge Zoo.
So this is our keeper space between the yards where we can access all the animals. To the right is our llamas and alpaca yard over here. They're out laying in their grass yard. And then here we have Zacchaeus the zebra coming
Oh,
up. and
he's coming over to say hello.
Yeah, his best buddy Leah back there.
Hi, buddy.
And our landscape team is raising hydroponic fodder for us. It's a barley grass.
Wow.
And Leah is actually munching on the barley grass up there in the corner that the landscape raises for us in our greenhouses.
That's nice.
And then Zachy here, he is a Grant zebra. He's still pretty young. He's a little over a year old, but he's a really good boy. Now, zebras greet each other by nips and bites, which in the zebra world is fine, but in the human world it hurts really, really badly. So you do got to watch those teeth. That's just how he says hello. It's kind of like a handshake. Isn't that right?
And one thing, we are talking about zoo babies here. I have a human baby with us. This is not an animal, and he and then two little ones right here. They are Ken Ham's grandchildren. So we're showing them some of the zoo babies today as well.
Zachy definitely is interested. And then up here, right now on the left side is our emus yard where the babies are. So we can go ahead and go in with these guys. We're coming in, everybody.
Can the little ones come in, or should they stay out?
No, they should be all right.
All right.
Come on in. Now, if you listen close, you will hear them peeping and talking to us. Now, none of these birds, we don't know whether they're boys or girls yet. None of them have names. So what we're doing is we did collect feathers from all of these birds about 2 weeks ago. And we send feathers in from each bird, and then we can do to a diagnostic lab, and they can tell us from the feathers whether we have boys or girls.
Oh,
so
that's
we're waiting
cool.
for that sex determination to come back so we know male, female. And
Is
then
that the only way to determine it?
There's another way that's surgical, more invasive.
Sure.
So the simple way, we can also do a blood test. So another way is a blood test. But these guys give up their feathers fairly easily. You
Right.
see there's quite a few of them actually laying through the yard. So, and as chicks, they're growing in a whole new feather coat. So the chicks have this really great striping, kind of like a watermelon look to them. And they'll keep that coloration until they get about juvenile size. Back here on the other side, that's the two adult females. So the first one by the gate there, that's Mariah. That's the mother of all the chicks. And then Olive is the other one in the background. She's a non-related female. Now, Dad, his name is Jericho, and he actually does most of the rearing and
Sure.
carrying the incubation of the eggs, caring for the chicks. But what happened was, Mom laid about 20 eggs for us starting in November. And she laid 20 eggs from November to January, and they're softball size, emerald colored eggs. They're just gorgeous.
Wow.
So they're really, really nice, large eggs. So these guys hatch out softball size, but they look just like this. So they're adorable. So these guys are already 6 to 7 to 9.
And you have
old.
quite a number of them. Are you going to be able to keep some, or are you going to maybe give some away, or how does that work?
Yeah, the whole plan for this is in our zoo expansion that's coming up. They just started working on. That zoo expansion is going to have an emu kangaroo walkabout in it. And these guys are being raised up for that walkabout. So we're going to take about 6 of these animals, 5 or 6 of these guys will go into the walkabout. So once we find out what sexes we have and how many males and how many females we'll have, we'll be able to determine who's going to actually work out best and go into the walkabout. So these guys are being raised up nice and friendly so that they can... He's the same size as they are.
Yes, they are.
So yeah, so the surplus ones then, so if we have, say, if we had 6 boys, we'd put 6 males in the walkabout. If we have 6 females, we'll put 6 females in the walkabout. So it's just going to be a way to determine once we have all the sex tests back,
Sure.
as to what's going to be the best course of action for us to go.
And what's the timeline for the zoo expansion?
Right now, we're looking towards pieces of it opening up late summer, early fall, and then
Wow, that soon.
probably as a whole item, as a whole expansion, it could even be 2019. But we have a lot of changes coming, and it's gonna be worth the wait for sure.
Sure. And I tell you what, here at the Ark Encounter, we have continual updates when it comes to inside the Ark or outside the Ark. We're currently building a 2,500 seat auditorium right across from the Ark, across the lake. So they're going to have a number of different presentations and then workshop for children in there. That's supposed to be opening sometime this year. So again, we continually have updates, and then inside the Ark, they're continuing to update exhibits and just make it a really high class attraction here than here in the zoo as well.
Yeah, so on these guys too, if you notice, each one has a leg band on right now because we can't tell. It's very, very hard to tell them apart. The spot pattern is kind of like, or the stripe pattern is kind of like a fingerprint. But to make it simple for us, we do have leg bands on them right now.
Sure.
And they'll probably keep leg bands on them going forward. It just helps us to identify them. And
So-
these guys, they'll mature about between 2 to 3 years of age. And these guys are 7 to 9 weeks now. Now these guys, you can see how big mom is. So they get about 4 feet tall at the back, and they can actually do a 7-foot vertical leap. So their legs are extremely powerful. If you can get a close-up look of the mother over here, I want you to take a look at her talons on her feet. That's their main defense, is that the claws on those feet. These guys come from Papua New Guinea and Australia. So after this kind would have left the Ark, they would have migrated over towards the area of New Guinea and Australia, and that's where they've settled out, and that's why we have them there today.
Right. And that's what you try to do here at the Ark Encounter too, at the Ararat Ridge Zoo, is have the kinds represented here that would have come on the Ark and come out of the Ark after the flood.
Exactly, yeah. So we try to, get as good a representation as we can as to that. If you look on the back side over here behind us, that's the ostrich. The ratites are considered the flightless birds, the larger flightless birds. So those are the ostrich, the emu that we have in this exhibit, the cassowary, the rhea, and the kiwi bird from New Zealand. So those are your main ratites. So the ostrich is the largest of those. So you can see two of those kind of competing kinds here.
Would there ever be a chance of ostrich chicks?
Not anytime soon.
Yes.
We have 2 females right now.
Okay.
The males tend to get a lot more aggressive, especially when females are around. So we just have the females for exhibition purposes.
Right.
But
How old did you say the emu chicks are?
so these guys are about 7 to 9 weeks. They started hatching mid-February.
Okay.
And Dad, of course, did all that. So he actually was really neat to watch. He built a nest inside the barn, and Mariah started dropping all the eggs in the nest.
Aww.
And as she dropped them, he would bury them, pile them, put them into a collection. So his creative design instincts were awesome to watch.
Wow.
How he kicked in.
That's neat.
They laid 5 eggs for us last year. That was their first nesting season. But this is their first one where we were actually looking for offspring because we wanted to be able to use them in the walkabout. So he did everything just right. She laid a tremendous number of eggs. If you imagine laying 20 softballs, that's a
Oh my.
that's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work.
So typically, the female lays the eggs, and then she actually leaves, and Dad incubates the eggs, he hatches the eggs, and he raises all the kids.
Wow.
Yeah, if we're quiet, you can actually hear some of their peeping.
Uh-huh.
Now here's something that's pretty fascinating. I've just observed with Jeremy over here. This little guy, as these guys get older, they're sometimes called blue necks. Because during mating season, their necks get real blue. And this little guy was just checking out Jeremy's shoes.
Oh, funny.
So they have a natural draw to any blue colors.
Yes.
We've had a keeper that had blue shoes, and they would not leave him alone.
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of cool to see how they respond to the colors.
Yes, that's funny because I think maybe it was last year or one time when we did a live stream here in the zoo, Jeremy was wearing his blue shoes and the emus
Yep, but that was
really
the
liked
adults,
them.
too.
Yes,
Yeah.
the adults, yes.
They do. It's funny to see
Yes.
how they even draw to that, even as chicks. They were
Right.
just kind of getting a kick out of
That's
that.
interesting.
Really cool thing I'm going to point out. Everybody thinks these birds' legs are on backwards. One extremely unique feature for the emu in particular is that they're the only bird with a calf muscle.
Interesting.
Which is part of why they can do that 7-foot vertical leap. They also have a 9-foot stride in full run, and they can hit speeds of about 30 miles per hour. So these guys are built for speed,
Wow.
and they're built for strength. Now, as you're standing here looking at them, they're actually standing on their tippy toes. So that first joint up off the ground is their heel. So their entire foot is about a foot long. On the adults back here, that's a 2-foot long foot. So does that make sense? So the knee is actually way up here. The knee is actually right here.
Oh, wow.
Way up under, kind of under right where the leg meets the body. That's the knee. And then their hip and thigh bones are only about 6 inches long and partially internal.
Wow. That's
So
so
it's
interesting.
Their body's set up the same as ours, but their legs are as well, but just in a much
Proportions
different
are
fashion.
different. Yeah, you would never guess. Oh, look, he's rolling in the sun. Yeah, that's not something you would know just to look at them. I always assumed that what the heel is the knee. I thought.
And that's what most people think. And
Yes.
that, to look at them and not know that what makes the most sense to us.
Right.
So now that you see it, you can go, oh my gosh, they're running around on their tippy toes.
Wow.
And that's a design that's built for that speed and that strength.
So how do they compare then to ostriches in that regard, like as far as their speed and the ability to jump like that?
Ostrich are more built for horizontal speed, so they can go up to
Okay.
about 45 miles per hour, so they're faster.
Okay.
They're larger, their legs are about twice the height of these guys, but they're set up the same exact way. So if you look at the ostrich, they almost have a 3-foot long foot. So they're the same exact leg setup
Wow.
as far as the bone structure and such goes.
Are the emus friendlier than the ostriches at all, or just depends?
These guys are interacted with. You can actually get either of the kinds pretty docile, and so it depends on how you interact with them. The males of both kinds can get
Yes.
a little more aggressive, especially if there's females around or if they're mating season. Actually, that's why Jericho's not out here now, because he actually got a little too aggressive with the keepers.
Oh.
So that we could work in with them and keep them nice and acclimated to people. So that's why they're out here on their own.
Yes.
Now the other difference is obviously the size, but the ostrich have 2 toes and the emu have 3. So that's kind of a,
Okay.
other than that calf muscle that the emu have that the ostrich don't, that's one of the other really unique characteristics is the emu are 3-toed and the ostrich are 2-toed.
Okay. Wow.
But in both of them, the males will do most of the rearing, incubation, and parenting of the chicks once they hatch.
Right. That's so interesting. I didn't know that either.
And
So they
these
like
guys-
to run.
Yes. We still lock them up at night right now. Partially because of weather and partially just so that owls don't take a hold of them. So we're going to make sure they get pretty good size on them before we leave them out overnight. But when they first come out in the morning, it's like the Indy 500 just kicked into play. And if you look real close, you can see their tiny little wings. So they do have wings. They're only about 5 inches long at this point. Even as adults, they got super tiny wings on them. So they do have wings there. They really don't have a purpose. They'll use them for dust bathing and things like that. And when the dad was sitting on the eggs, he uses them to kind of shift the eggs around and stuff. So they are useful in that sense, but not as far as you would think how useful wings would be on a normal bird.
Right.
You can kind of see them fanning them out here in the front just a little bit. Little nubs almost. And right here you can see Mariah's hanging down here. That's her little wing hanging down on the side there. Did you hear that drumming just now?
Was that her?
That was her. So the males and females both do the drumming. That's how during mating season the male attracts the females that come around and drum.
Oh, they're after a butterfly. Aww.
You can hear him hissing. Did you hear him hissing?
Yep.
They're trying to get it.
That is awesome.
All right, let's see what this little guy here thinks of the emus. Hey, what do you think of the emus?
Cool, but I can tell that they have peckers because I can tell of those weird pecker thingies.
Their beaks?
Yeah,
Do you like them?
yeah. They're like stay on my hand.
I'm sure.
My
Yes.
hand looks like an emu.
Yes, it does. Thank you. Anyway, so kids of all ages like to come to the zoo. The emus will come right up to you at the fence, isn't that right?
Yeah, they do. They do. And then when we have them in the walkabout in the future, we'll have probably a 3-foot fence that'll actually separate the guests from the animals, but they'll be able to walk up, and if the animals choose to, they come up and the guests will be able to interact with them. It should be really awesome. And you see how comfortable and friendly they are now.
Right. Well, that's cool. I'm looking forward to that experience. That's really exciting.
I am too. It's going to be really exciting, not only for us,
Sure.
but it's also good enrichment for the animals. So that gives them something to do and interact in their exhibit all day long with the guests. So the guests will actually be built-in enrichment for our animals at that point. But it'll be good. The guests, I think, will absolutely love it.
So what else has been happening with the zoo since last time we've checked in?
Let's see. Well, we got 2 new camels. So Hank and Buddha showed up. So now we have Hank, Buddha, Archie, and Bocephus. So there are 4 ride camels. And let's see, what else we got going on? Up in the, what's now called the Monument Walk, we have a new goat exhibit up there as well. And then next week or the week after, we're going to bring in a bunch of colorful tropical birds. And there's 3 bird exhibits up in that area as well that are going to be brand new.
And that's in front of the Ark.
That's in front of the Ark, yep.
Right. And the Ararat Ridge Zoo, that's located behind the Ark. So if you come, make sure to not only check out the East and West Village in front of the Ark with the birds, but behind the Ark you'll find Ararat Ridge Zoo. And if you want anything more information about the zoo or anything like that, go to arkencounter.com. You can learn about tickets and the zoo and many other details here, the hours and all that. And just so you know, everything is handicapped accessible, even the zoo. And they even have the different things you can rent in regards to that as well. Is there anything else that we didn't cover that we should mention?
I think that about covers it for what we're doing right now. Make sure you come out and check out the rides. We do have the Deck 2 live animal exhibit on the ship. The animals that are up there rotate every day. We've got the new area for the Monument Walk in front of the Ark.
Sure.
And then, of course, our petting area is a huge hit. And these guys will be on exhibit now from here on out, so you can come on out and check out the emu chicks. And then throughout the rest of the zoo, our other exhibits are open year-round, and we've also got the expansion piece that's happened, so you can see some changes happening up there.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time with us.
Hey, thanks,
and
Jeremy.
thank you for joining us here on this live stream. And if you have any questions, comment, and we'll reply to them later. And again, thank you.